Jeremiah chapter 49. Of the children of Ammon, Yahweh says, Has Israel no sons? Has he no heir? Why then does Malcolm possess Gad, and his people dwell in its cities? Therefore, behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that I will cause an alarm of war to be heard against Rabbah of the children of Ammon, and it will become a desolate heap, and her daughters will be burned with fire. Then Israel will possess those who possessed him, says Yahweh. Wail, Heshbon, for Ai is laid waste. Cry, you daughters of Rabbah, clothe yourself in sackcloth. Lament and run back and forth among the fences, for Malcolm will go into captivity, his priests and his princes together. Why do you boast in the valleys, your flowing valley, backsliding daughter? You trusted in her treasures, saying, Who will come to me? Behold, I will bring a terror on you, says the Lord, Yahweh of armies, from all who are around you. All of you will be driven completely out, and there will be no one to gather together the fugitives. That afterward I will reverse the captivity of the children of Ammon, says Yahweh. Of Edom, Yahweh of armies says, Is wisdom no more in Teman? Has counsel perished from the prudent? Has their wisdom vanished? Flee, turn back, dwell in the depths, inhabitants of Dedan, for I will bring the calamity of Esau on him when I visit him. If grape gatherers came to you, would they not leave some gleaning grapes? If thieves came by night, wouldn't they steal until they had enough? That I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he will not be able to hide himself. His offspring is destroyed, with his brothers and his neighbors, and he is no more. Leave your fatherless children. I will preserve them alive. Let your widows trust in me. For Yahweh says, Behold, they to whom it didn't pertain to drink of the cup will certainly drink, and I who will altogether go unpunished. You won't go unpunished, but you will surely drink. For I have sworn by myself, says Yahweh, that Basra will become an astonishment, a reproach, a waste, and a curse. All its cities will be perpetual wastes. I have heard news from Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the nations, saying, Gather yourselves together, come against her, rise up to the battle. For, behold, I have made you small among the nations, and despised among men. As for your terror, the pride of your heart has deceived you, or you who dwell in the clefts of the rock, who hold the height of the hill. Though you should make your nest as high as the eagle, I will bring you down from there, says Yahweh. Edom will become an astonishment. Everyone who passes by it will be astonished, and will hiss at all its plagues. As in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah and its neighbor cities, says Yahweh, no man will dwell there, neither will any son of man live therein. Behold, he will come up like a lion from the pride of the Jordan against the strong habitation, for I will suddenly make them run away from it, and whoever is chosen, I will appoint him over it. For who is like me? Who will appoint me a time? Who is the shepherd who will stand before me? Therefore hear the counsel of Yahweh that he has taken against Edom, and his purposes that he has purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely they will drag them away, the little ones of the flock. Surely he will make their habitation desolate over them. The earth trembles at the noise of their fall. There is a cry, the noise which is heard in the Red Sea. Behold, he will come up and fly as the eagle, and spread out his wings against Basra. The heart of the mighty men of Edom at that day will be as the heart of a woman in her pangs. Of Damascus, Hamath, and Arpad are confounded, for they have heard evil news. They have melted away. There is sorrow on the sea. It can be quiet. Damascus has grown feeble. She turns herself to flee, and trembling has seized her. Anguish and sorrows have taken hold of her, as of a woman in travail. How is the city of praise not forsaken, the city of my joy? Therefore her young men will fall in her streets, and all the men of war will be brought to silence in that day, says Yahweh of armies. I will kindle a fire in the wall of Damascus, and it will devour the palaces of Ben-Hadad, of Kedar, and of the kingdoms of Hazor, which Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon struck. Yahweh says, Arise, go up to Kedar, and destroy the children of the east. They will take their tents and their flocks. They will carry away for themselves their curtains, all their vessels, and their camels, and they will cry to them, Terror on every side. Flee, wander far off. Dwell in the depths, you inhabitants of Hazor, says Yahweh, for Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon has taken counsel against you, and has conceived a purpose against you. Arise, go up to a nation that is at ease, that dwells without care, says Yahweh, that has neither gates nor bars, that dwells alone. Their camels will be a booty, and the multitude of their livestock a plunder. I will scatter to all winds those who have the corners of their beards cut off, and I will bring their calamity from every side of them, says Yahweh. Hazor will be a dwelling place of jackals, a desolation forever. No man will dwell there, neither will any son of man live therein. Yahweh's word that came to Jeremiah the prophet concerning a lamb, in the beginning of the reign of Zedekiah king of Judah, saying, Yahweh of armies says, Behold, I will break the bow of the lamb, the chief of their might. I will bring on a land the four winds from the four quarters of the sky, and will scatter them toward all those winds. There will be no nation where the outcasts of the lamb will not come. I will cause the lamb to be dismayed before their enemies, and before those who seek their life. I will bring evil on them, even my fierce anger, says Yahweh, and I will send the sword after them, until I have consumed them. I will set my throne in a land, and will destroy from their king and princes, says Yahweh. That it will happen in the latter days that I will reverse the captivity of the land, says Yahweh. Chapter 50. The word that Yahweh spoke concerning Babylon, concerning the land of the Chaldeans, by Jeremiah the prophet. Declare among the nations and publish, and set up a standard, publish, and don't conceal. Say, Babylon has been taken, Bel is disappointed, Merodach is dismayed, her images are disappointed, her idols are dismayed. For a nation comes up out of the north against her, which will make her land desolate, and no one will dwell in it. They have fled, they are gone, both man and animal. In those days and in that time, says Yahweh, the children of Israel will come, they and the children of Judah together. They will go on their way weeping, and will seek Yahweh their God. They will inquire concerning Zion with their faces turned toward it, saying, Come and join yourselves to Yahweh in an everlasting covenant that will not be forgotten. My people have been lost sheep, their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. All who found them have devoured them. Their adversaries said, We are not guilty, because they have sinned against Yahweh, the habitation of righteousness, even Yahweh, the hope of their fathers. Flee out of the middle of Babylon. Go out of the land of the Chaldeans, and be as the male goats before the flocks. For, behold, I will stir up and cause to come up against Babylon a company of great nations from the north country, and they will set themselves in array against her. She will be taken from there. Their arrows will be as of an expert mighty man. None of them will return in vain. Chaldea will be a prey. All who prey on her will be satisfied, says Yahweh. Because you are glad, because you rejoice, O you who plunder my heritage, because you are wanton as a heifer that treads out the grain, and neigh as strong horses, your mother will be utterly disappointed. She who bore you will be confounded. Behold, she will be the least of the nations, a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. Because of Yahweh's wrath she won't be inhabited, but she will be wholly desolate. Everyone who goes by Babylon will be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. Set yourselves in array against Babylon all around, all you who bend the bow, shoot at her. Spare no arrows, for she has sinned against Yahweh. Shout against her all around. She has submitted herself. Her bulwarks have fallen. Her walls have been thrown down, for it is the vengeance of Yahweh. Take vengeance on her, as she has done, do to her. Cut off the sword from Babylon, and him who handles the sickle in the time of harvest. For fear of the oppressing sword, they will each return to their own people, and they will each flee to their own land. Israel is a hunted sheep. The lions have driven him away. First, the king of Assyria devoured him, and now at last Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon has broken his bones. Therefore Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, says, Behold, I will punish the king of Babylon in his land, as I have punished the king of Assyria. I will bring Israel again to his pasture, and he will feed on Carmel and Bashan. His soul will be satisfied on the hills of Ephraim and in Gilead. In those days and in that time, says Yahweh, the iniquity of Israel will be sought for, and there will be none. Also the sins of Judah, and they won't be found, for I will pardon them whom I leave as a remnant. Go up against the land of Maritime, even against it, and against the inhabitants of Pekah. Kill and utterly destroy after them, says Yahweh, and do according to all that I have commanded you. The sound of battle is in the land, and of great destruction. How the hammer of the whole earth is cut apart and broken. How Babylon has become a desolation among the nations. I have laid a snare for you, and you are also taken, Babylon, and you weren't aware. You are found and also caught, because you have fought against Yahweh. Yahweh has opened his armory and has brought out the weapons of his indignation, for the Lord, Yahweh of armies, has a work to do in the land of the Chaldeans. Come against her from the farthest border, open her storehouses, cast her up as heaps, destroy her utterly. Let nothing of her be left, kill all her bulls, let them go down to the slaughter. Woe to them, for their day has come, the time of their visitation. Listen to those who flee and escape out of the land of Babylon, to declare in Zion the vengeance of Yahweh our God, the vengeance of his temple. Hold together the archers against Babylon, all those who bend the bow. Encamp against her all around. Let none of it escape. Pay her back according to her work, according to all that she has done, do to her, for she has been proud against Yahweh, against the Holy One of Israel. Therefore her young men will fall in her streets. All her men of war will be brought to silence in that day, says Yahweh. Behold, I am against you, you proud one, says the Lord, Yahweh of armies, for your day has come, the time that I will visit you. The proud one will stumble and fall, and no one will raise him up. I will kindle a fire in his cities, and it will devour all who are around him. Yahweh of armies says, The children of Israel and the children of Judah are pressed together. All who took them captive hold them fast. He refused to let them go. Their Redeemer is strong. Yahweh of armies is his name. He will thoroughly plead their cause, that he may give rest to the earth, and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. The sword is on the Chaldeans, says Yahweh, and on the inhabitants of Babylon, on her princes, and on her wise men. The sword is on the boasters, and they will become fools. The sword is on her mighty men, and they will be dismayed. The sword is on their horses, on their chariots, and on all the mixed people who are in the middle of her, and they will become as women. The sword is on her treasures, and they will be robbed. A drought is on her waters, and they will be dried up. For it is a land of engraved images, and they are mad over idols. Therefore the wild animals of the desert with the wolves will dwell there. The ostriches will dwell therein. It will be inhabited no more forever, neither will it be lifted from generation to generation. As when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and its neighbor cities, says Yahweh, so no man will dwell there, neither will any son of man live therein. Behold, a people comes from the north. A great nation and many kings will be stirred up from the uttermost parts of the earth. They take up bow and spear. They are cruel and have no mercy. Their voice roars like the sea. They ride on horses, everyone set in array as a man to the battle, against you, daughter of Babylon. The king of Babylon has heard the news of them, and his hands become feeble. Anguish has taken hold of him, pains as of a woman in labor. Behold, the enemy will come up like a lion from the thickets of the Jordan against the strong habitation, for I will suddenly make them run away from it. Whoever is chosen, I will appoint him over it. For who is like me? Who will appoint me a time? Who is the shepherd who can stand before me? Therefore hear the counsel of Yahweh that he has taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he has purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely they will drag them away, even the little ones of the flock. Surely he will make their habitation desolate over them. The earth trembles at the noise of the taking of Babylon. The cry is heard among the nations.